Hey guys, welcome to another episode of C programming tutorial. My name is Raja, and in this video we're gonna learn how we can take user input by using scanf function. So let's get started. Now whenever we are doing programming, we not only want to print things, but we also want to take inputs from the user so that we can process those things and give an output by after processing those things. So taking inputs is as useful or as important as printing outputs. So we take inputs in C programming by using the scanf function, which is also part of this stdio.h. Okay, so let's learn how we can take inputs. So first of all, we have to create a variable inside which we're going to store the value that we're going to take as an input. So first of all, let's write int a, and inside that I'm gonna take a value from the user and then I'm gonna store that inside a. So in order to take an input, you have to write scanf function, and then within the pair of parentheses, first of all within quotes, you have to write whatever you wanna scan. So suppose I write %d, that means I want to input an integer or a decimal. As we have seen in the last video, we use %d for taking inputs of integers. And then after writing comma, in case of printf, you had to write like this. In case of printf, you just give this and then write this one so that you get printed this value, so that this value gets printed. But in case of scanf, all you have to do is in front of this variable, you have to write the ampersand sign. This ampersand sign means the address of A, which you not required to learn here, but all you have to remember is whenever you want to take inputs and put that input inside some variable, all you have to do is write ampersand in front of that variable. So here it means that the scanf function will get called and it will wait for us to input an integer value, and it will store that integer value inside this variable named a. Okay, so later on we can print the value of a and see what we have entered. So write %d, write %d and then write a. So that means after inserting it, this will get printed. So first of all, let's write one more thing before it. Write you have entered and then %. So that means it will print you have entered and then it will print the value of a, which we have entered using this scanf variable, scanf function. Okay, so let's save it, and now if I run it, as you can see, nothing is printed, so it is waiting for us to input something. As you can see here, the first statement is to input something, so it is waiting for us so that we can input some value. So let's say I input 10, I write 10, and then I press enter. So as you can see, after I press enter, it prints that you have entered 10. So what is happening? So when I write 10 and press enter, the value 10 gets stored inside this variable a. And in the next line, we are printing the value of this variable a. So here, the value which I have entered, that is 10, gets printed here. So this is how we can take inputs of integers. The same way we can also take inputs of characters of floats. Let's take input of a character variable. So we're gonna store it inside a character. So let's change it to carry. So we are taking input of a character variable and we're storing it inside a. And finally we are printing the value. So here you have to change the d to c. So if I run it right now, as you can see, it waits for me to enter value, and if I write C here and then press enter, it says you have entered C. Okay, simple. Now, just like printf, we can also write things before this %c. Okay, so we may write enter, and then with the after colon we will write %c, and if I run it, as you can see, nothing happened. If I write 5, it says you have entered nothing. So we cannot use this thing like printf. Okay, so inside scanf we don't use or we don't write this kind of things. Inside scanf we only write the things that we want to take an input. Okay, so suppose we want to take more inputs of things, so what we do is after this we just write %d. That means we want to take input of one more integer variable, and we want to store that value inside this v variable. So what we do is after that we write another comma, and then we write ampersand, and then we write b. So what will happen is, first of all, it will take an input of a character variable. It will store that inside a, and then it will take input of an integer variable, and that it will store inside b. So now if we want to print here, so we're going to print it here. You have entered C, you have entered this one, that is a character, and we write and then we write %d, and after comma we write b. So that means, first of all, it will print the value of the character, that is the value of the a that we have entered here, and then it will print the value of this integer, that is the value of v that we have entered here. Okay, so if I run it right now, as you can see, first of all, it waits for me to input a character. So if I write a and press enter, as you can see, again it is waiting for me to to input another character, since we have two things to input. So now I have to input an integer. So I write 5 and then I press enter, and it says you have entered a, that is what I've entered first, and 5, that which I've entered second. So this is how it works. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. So thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great day. Thanks.